that's part of what you can expect in this video. Otherwise, let's do things the right way first. Welcome to the channel. It's Iwe behind the camera, and I appreciate that you're here with me today. So today I'm with Ford South Africa in a secret location. I'm saying secret because if you don't own a Ford 4x4, you probably don't know about this. It's not held in one place and it's moving around quite a lot. So for you to get to this place, you need to have a Ford 4x4, or you need to be with someone who is in a 4x4 from Ford, of course. So what we are doing here is for the Ford Adventure Club. It's a level 1 4x4 training where we go into experience all things 4x4, learn about the cars, how to get out of sticky situations you can imagine. For me, this is the first time I get here, and I'm so excited to just show you what's going to happen throughout the day. What we do here then, what you're seeing right now basically is the training that we do. This is the initial training, is the theoretical training where they tell you about the car, the limitations, every little button that is in the car. They tell you about it, when to use it, what to do about it. And from what we are learning here, I'm going to be talking to it when we are actually doing everything in practice, because then after this training, we're going to be practicing what Ford is preaching that their cars can do, right? Okay, how I got here. For me, I'm in a Ford Ranger Raptor, and that gave me a ticket to come here. How you can get here is to buy a brand new 4x4 from Ford, and then you'll get like details and tickets to come here, right? But if your car is a little bit old, you can still get here. There's a fee. I'll leave details to the website for the Ford Adventure Club in the description below, so that you can be able to get to it and be able to experience it. If you've never experienced 4x4, because sometimes we're just buying these cars, but we mostly just do like normal road travels like tar road and stuff. We go off-road, just a little bit of gravel when we go to the rurals and so on. But this is where you're going to learn about everything 4x4 and how you can really survive sometimes. As you can see, these are other people's cars. These are owners' cars, Ford owners' cars, brand new cars. Some of them, I believe, they are less than 12 months old because the ticket is valid for like 12 months, I think, based on what I've seen on the website. So now we are headed out to the actual training where we're going to be doing the hardcore stuff. So let's go. And now we're going to be practicing what Ford has been preaching to us over the last hour or so, because the theoretical training takes about an hour or so. Then you're going to be practicing, of course, what they're saying before you actually say, I have done the training and I'm done and I'm good and I can go. In the car here, I'm with Uncle, and Uncle, thank you so much. Shout out to you. He agreed to wake up so early so that we can come here, and he's going to assist me with shooting throughout the day. Thank you so much for that. Otherwise, when it comes to that, when you get a passenger for this as a driver, if your ticket is still within the valid period that I spoke about, you don't necessarily pay anything. But the passenger, in this case, it was additional 400 rand, which is worth it because the person is still going to get the benefits of the training. They're still going to eat. They're still going to get breakfast, the lunch, and everything. So let's go to the first one. So guys, we're going to be going through multiple obstacles, and as you know, on this channel we take our time, so please use timestamps to navigate to whatever you are interested in. Also, I'm not going to be talking about the engine is a 2-liter 157 kilowatts, this and that. We're going to be talking about the experience and simplifying off-road as we learned it today. The first obstacle is quite easy that we're going to be doing right now, because what we are testing here, it's how the car feels when you are driving in a ditch, like up and down and up in this case, because we're starting going down and then we're going to get out of the ditch, which we are testing it in a 4 low mode. And I'm going to explain to you just now. What I need is for us to listen to the guys from Ford telling us going uphill. So on the way up, I'll explain to you actually what's the difference between the 2H, the 4H, and the 4L, right? Right now the car is in 4L mode.
So, because we're in a Raptor, we take it out of 4 low.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. Don't take it out of 4 low. We go 2-wheel drive when we go Baja mode and we send it to the highway. No, I'm joking. We'll do this properly. Okay. So, because what we want to do is we want to climb this hill nice and constantly and nice and smooth. We want to make sure that the vehicle will be able to do that. Okay. But so because we're in low range, we have that power and control that will get us up to the hill. Okay. So to make it a little bit easier so that we have a constant speed going all the way to the top, what I want you to do is I want you to lock it in first gear. So we do that by putting it into manual, pull the minus pedal this side, there we go, and you can see the one, I don't know if you can see the one on the steering. So that's now locked in first gear, okay? Hill descent control on in case we don't make it. Obviously we're going to make it up this hill, but it's just a good theory to have it.
So that it doesn't roll back.
Yeah, just in case something happens, you know.
I hear
you never know, you might be halfway up a hill in the middle of Botswana and a tree's fallen down, you know.
And
you can't go around, you can't go over, you can't go under, you can't go through. The only way back down is in reverse. So that's why you have that. Okay. Nice and smooth, nice and constant on the throttle. Keep the vehicle moving up the hill where you want to go. Once you're at the top, you're going to make a left turn to the big open area and you'll see Lee will park you guys nicely there.
All right.
Okay.
Ready?
You go.
Thank you. Now that we're going uphill, and you heard when I was being given instructions that I should keep the car in 4 low that I spoke about, right? It's because for going uphill, we need power more than speed, of course. So what happens is when the car is in the H modes, which is the 2H and the 4H, it's performing at normal speed, meaning that the speed that you're using to drive the car on, like every day, you will get it. When you press the accelerator, it will move at that speed. But when it's on 4 low, it is moving now at a slower speed, but at more power, right? So that's why you don't necessarily get this particular mode of low, which is low range, at 2-wheel drive, because then you need all 4 wheels to use the power that you have in the car so that you can get through the sticky situations that maybe like now going up, because this is a slippery surface and we need to go up with much more power. Then if you were to put it in the normal H, can you imagine going up this hill as fast as you can and you start losing control? You don't want to know what's going to happen in that case. That's the point. The difference between 4H and 2H is that it informs you that 2H is driving on 2 wheels, which is the rear wheels, and then the 4H is driving on all wheels. How to use them? 2H, normally you use it when you are in a normal tar road, where then you don't necessarily need all 4 wheels to be performing whatever task that you need to do, right? But on 4H, that's when then you have a little bit of a slippery surface, like a normal level gravel, where you need all 4 wheels to help you grip and put the car in control on the slippery surfaces. Basically, that's how this 2 works. In here, coming up here, it's just a little bit unusual because I'm not used to 4 low. It's probably the first time I use it like this. The car feels so slow. In fact, they said it's like the normal speed divided by 2.5. That's how slow this particular car is right now. But we're on top of the hill. We've arrived. Let's see outside. Okay, now we're demonstrating the principle of hill descent control, right? HDC, as known by others, because that's the button that you normally see in the car. What's happening here is that this function is regulating the speed for you as you're going downhill. Very important, as you're going downhill. It can be either from the front or from the back. You will hear as I'm going to be giving instruction when you're going on the rocky path like now, how that is going to help you actually. So what's happening here is that I'm not on any pedal whatsoever. I'm not touching my brakes. I'm not touching the accelerator. The car is doing what it can to just take us downhill as slow as possible, because the speed that we have right now, because we are still in 4 low, as I said, it gives you more power, but it reduces the speed. So now we are probably traveling at less than 5 kilometers per hour. You can still go downhill in this way in 4H, which is normal speed, as I said, but you need to regulate your speed and make sure that it's not going like as fast as possible that you end up losing control, right? So what you can do is to use the cruise control function to regulate the speed. I think it's limited to 32 kilometers per hour, and then from there, then it's just going to remain there. Then what we are doing here, the reason it's so slow is because we locked it in gear 1 and we are in low range. So we don't want it to be interchanging because this is an automatic transmission. So obviously if it feels like the car is too slow or it's revving too high, it's going to change. But to do this, you have to lock it into gear. With the Ranger Raptor, you just pull the gear backwards into manual and then you pull the pedal shifter and then it will keep the car in that particular gear. In this case, it's first. And then for the sake of the ranges and stuff, you just press the plus and minus. You know, once you press that, it shows you which gear it's in. Then it's not going to be changing up and down. Otherwise, the car is doing everything basically. It's just taking me downhill. And then once I get there, I touch on the brakes and then the car will be on a standstill. Okay, that looks scary now.
Okay, so easy hill.
Okay.
You just need to prep the vehicle for going up the hill. Okay, so you can already see just by looking at this hill that it's already a loose, rocky gravel surface. So we know just by looking at it, we're going to lose traction already. Okay, so we've got two things in a Raptor that we can use to minimize our loss of traction going up this hill, so we're not stuck halfway. One is Diff Lock. Okay, push and hold that for me. The one with in the middle there. There we go. Release, you can see it's locked over there.
I see now.
And the other one is on our terrain management system called Rock Crawl. So left hand side of the steering wheel, bottom right corner. Rock Crawl. Okay. So what that will do is it heightens the sensitivity of traction control. Okay. So as soon as that wheel slips on the gravel, instead of the power escaping through that wheel, it goes and then grabs it.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. So now.
So I'm still in 4 low, right?
4 low, first gear, manual.
First gear.
We don't want to go second gear because we don't want the car, or we want to keep it in manual so the car doesn't change gears halfway up the hill. Then we lose the torque and lose the momentum.
Okay. So only first gear, nothing else.
If you look at this hill, do you want speed or power going up this hill?
I need power. I don't necessarily need
What does low range do?
Okay.
Gives us that low speed power and control.
I get you.
Okay, off you go.
Right.
Nice and slowly, nice and controlled.
Okay. Okay, this part I think was so well explained that I don't need to repeat that. You had that. One thing that I can talk about, actually the Diff Lock. You know what, we'll talk about the Diff Lock on the next challenge actually. Right now let me just talk about the terrain management. You see, when you are in the Ranger Raptor, right, you do have like terrain management besides the normal like drive mode like 4L, 2H and so on. In here you do have terrain management where then you can say if you're going up a hill like this or in the rocky one, you just put honk, and then the system will set itself anticipating that I'm going on a rocky surface, then it can be able to just go up as it does now. It feels like it's working way hard when you're listening to the engine, but that's because of that 4 low. Like I said, more power, low speed, and that's what basically is being applied here. And once I got on top, I don't need Diff Lock anymore. I'll explain why that is at a later stage. Otherwise, we are back again on top of the hill. I'm not going to do the hill descent control again because the principle is quite the same. So what we're going to go through now is this challenge where the wheels are going up and so on and so on. Then you're driving on 3 wheels, and then I'm going to explain the Diff Lock issue there, right? Let's go there. Okay.
Great. Stop there. Alrighty, so we're in too high, correct? Too high, good. As you go to the shops. Okay. We hands on the steering wheel, keep it hold. Nice and slowly. Keep it going, keep it straight. Straight on the wheel. There we go. Just like that. A little bit of power. Alrighty, stop there. So, remember, rear-wheel drive, all the power going to the back. Okay? So, what can we do to minimize the loss of traction going to the back? There's two things. There's four-wheel drive, first of all, or there's diff lock. Go for high for now. Okay. So remember, half the power is now going to the front. So the front wheels are now going to pull us. Okay, let's go. Keep it like that. See how the revs and the car's not moving at the same speed. That's because the car knows that it's going to lose traction on those wheels. So it's braking those wheels. Okay. You want to try to keep as constant as possible. Because as you realize here, as soon as you're off the power, the car doesn't want to go. Okay. Full high to the rest of the course.
So you had the man. He explained everything actually. How we got out of that situation, we just put it in 4H and got out. But it was not on Diff Lock, low range, nothing. It was just 4H. And you could see the struggle that we had with the 2H because it was driving on the rear wheels. The front wheels could not assist, but once we put it in 4H, it managed to get out of that situation. So what you're seeing now is actually an approach angle of the vehicle. You see the metal skid underneath the vehicle is to protect the vehicle from touching the hill as you're approaching it. And then the departure one is when you're looking at the vehicle as it's leaving the hill, if it's not going to touch like the hill itself. That's basically what they mean when they're talking about approach and departure angles, right? Otherwise, to measure them sometimes you won't know unless if you get out of the car and just check if the car is going to be able to make the hill or not. And you can also just check on the internet. There's a way to just measure using the stick. You can use that as well to just check if you can be able to make the hill or not. With the Ranger, I mean, this has like, I mean, the ground clearance is amazing, 283 millimeters. You can be able to get through a lot of hills actually. Right now, we're going to be doing that particular course, but we're going to be doing it with different settings.
Like I said, this will be the most extreme off-road program. Literally all you're going to do is idle the car through here. No brakes, no accelerator. Okay, right. Feet off, let's go.
Alright. Wait, you said no brakes, no accelerator.
Brakes, no accelerator. Let the car go.
Okay.
There we go. More to the right. Straight. Keep it going just like that. Okay. How much more control do you have? How much more composure is it? That's the way. Okay. Diff Lock off before you get to the hill. Do the rest of the course for me, please.
Hey guys, did you see that? That's basically what happens when you then have the Diff Lock on and you just put the car into follow. Basically, I wasn't doing anything. I didn't force the car to go forward. It went through the course by itself. And this is where I just look at this thing and I'm like, wow, you know, you can really be stuck because you don't know. Just to turn a knob and put the diff lock on a button, you can literally have different results, because the engine was screaming initially, but now it just went through as if there's nothing that is happening around it. That's just, I'm mind blown by the results of this. Now, actually we are in follow, and the reason he said when you get to the hill, turn off the diff lock is because of what diff lock is for. Let's start with the diff, right? Diff in full is differential, right? Would you be asking yourself, differential of what now? Like, that is for the wheels, right? The different speeds that each wheel is doing. Think about it. If a car is spinning, and let's say the car is spinning closer to the object, like maybe there's a pole and they're just going around the pole like that, you will see that the wheel that is closer to the pole is not doing much, it's not moving much, but the ones that are outer, they are moving a lot more to turn the car around, right? So that is the difference that are there in moving, like each wheel. When you're locking it, you're saying each wheel is going to be moving at the same speed, no matter what direction it's taking. That's why normally you see that they're just doing it like for straight lines and so on, to get out of a sticky sewage situation like the one we were in right now, right? So this one, when you locked it, each wheel, even if the other one is high, going high up, it's just like it wasn't high up, because other wheels can still do the job. So it fits the torque to the wheels that can do the job easier. That's why we got out of that situation like that. Now we're going to the last obstacle before we take the car out ourselves and go have fun with Baja, of course. But this obstacle looks way easy because this car made it so easy. It's demonstrating driving on sand, where they're just showing you what is that you need to consider and what settings you need to put in and so on. Let's listen to what they say, and then I'll just show you the car going through it. All right.
So we need to go 4 high, that's cool. In this car we can go sand.
Okay.
That one with Baja, it's fine. It's cool.
Even Baja will do it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
So what's Baja? What's the desert like?
Oh.
Sand.
Okay.
Then your ESP is the squiggly line.
Is it 4 high, yeah?
Yeah, 4 high is fine. Then
Okay.
the ESP button, that one, push and hold that. You'll see the light there and you'll see it flash.
Wait, should I press it for
push
long?
and hold, yeah. And you'll see it will flash.
Come on. Okay.
There we go. Off you go.
And then it's off this way.
That's it, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Send it.
Honestly, this car made it look so easy that I don't even think I'm gonna say much on it. It didn't feel like it's skidding or it's losing anything. It's on a loose surface whatsoever. So for this one, maybe it needed to be longer for me to feel like the actual impact of it. For this one, I didn't feel much. This car just walked through it, like it walked. Okay, so now we're done with training and we're going on a free mode. First things first, check the terrain. We're gonna put it in Baja mode, and then for H, we need to be protected. We need all 4 wheels to be working right now because we don't wanna end up with the tail going out and we are out of the road. Okay. Guys, there's a sanitizer spray can here that is making it sound like we have bottles. It's not bottles, actually. Oh, this thing can go. Wow! This thing can go. I mean, it picks up like it's on tar road for some. Oh man, the grip, guys. I mean, the grip is something that is just getting me all the time. Like, wow, how does it do this? But it owes it to the tires. It has like 2 85mm wide tires. I mean, that's quite wide. It helps you a lot when it comes to curves like this. So you just can play with it like this. I mean, with Baja mode, the stability control is not necessarily turned off in this case, but it cuts around 80% so that you can play with the tail a bit. But the four-wheel drive can protect you when you find a road like this. I mean, oh man. Okay, now we're going to go to the open road and just talk about the experience on the gravel. Okay, we're now putting it in Baja because we came here on normal drive, making sure that it's in 4H because we are on gravel. We don't want the tail to be heavy and we end up in a ditch somewhere and then we have to call Ford. All right, let's get moving. Oh man. You know, when you're starting a car on a gravel and you don't get the normal grrr to show that you're starting on a bumpy road, you know you are in for a ride, right? And I can tell you right now, when you're moving it like this, it's like it's asking for more. You know, one thing that I realize right now as I'm moving it is that you feel much more protected. It's like the car has already protected itself and you don't have much to protect thanks to these big wheels that it has. It has like 285, 17-inch wheels. I mean, these tires are so big. I mean, 285 is the width, right? 70 means it's 70% of 285, the height of it from the ground all the way to the rim. That's why it's soaking up this bump so well, protecting the interior. As much as it's doing that though, you still need to lower the limits because sometimes when you're hitting the big ones, you still need to protect it a bit. But it doesn't need much more protection. This thing can protect itself actually. Wow, I mean, you can just push it and you don't feel like you're losing much because even when you're doing, you know, on a gravel road, right? When you're doing like 60, it feels like it's 100 from the tar road. But in here, you can get to 100 and it doesn't even feel like you're doing as much. That's how composed it feels. Wow, this thing goes. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this on a gravel road. I mean, I've lived with this car for a week. I've done normal things with it. I've seen its imperfections. It's crazy to park this car. This is more than 2 meters wide. To park it is not the easiest thing in town. And then when you're focusing on the aids that you get, like adaptive cruise control, it doesn't have front parking sensors. It doesn't have it. Like the fuel consumption is crazy. I mean, it's around 13. I think I was doing more than 13 or so. But that's because I was just pushing it throughout the week. But now, right now, we are doing 100 and it feels like it's normal. I mean, this is where then you get to see that it's telling you that whatever you thought I'm not perfect on, say it now. Like, say it again. I mean, this thing can really go. I mean, wow, the comfort in here. I mean, this suspension is specifically tuned for roads like this. I mean, it's not like it doesn't have leaf springs at the back. It's coils, but in here, hey. Hi guys, I'm out. Wow and wow, I'm out. I'm out.